Hello, wonderful listeners, and welcome to Boomy and the Ham, the podcast where our sports conversations will make you feel like you are losing brain cells. I'm Ham, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for another amazing episode of Boomy and the Ham. And here we go. What is up, everybody? This is episode 6 of Boomy and the Ham. I am your host, The Ham, and I am joined by my co-host Boomy and our executive producer, Mr. Jesse, Mr. Dallas, almost wins something, Basunya, and we are going to talk today about NBA Finals. We all kind of have some beef with one certain player in the finals. How these final series for hockey and basketball have both been a little bit of a letdown. We're gonna go into MLB, talk a little WNBA because something has transpired, with the women's world of basketball since we last talked, and then we are going to talk about UFC 303. And okay, let's just jump into it. We may just start with UFC 303 while I'm in rant mode. So, I have a problem with UFC and how they, I guess, kind of conduct business. And here's why. If you had a game, right? The Lakers versus the Celtics, or, I don't know, fucking Denver versus Miami or something, there's a good final series, or like the Bears versus Green Bay or something along those lines, right? Like we have a really good series coming up or a really good game we're looking forward to. UFC having one of the top guys in the sports like Conor McGregor pulling out from that is such a slap in the face to the fans, because those fans don't get their money back. Right?
hmm
Like, so it would literally, correct me if I'm wrong, because it literally just annoys shit out of me, and mostly because I'm a huge Conor McGregor fan. Conor McGregor pulling out of UFC 303 is like if you were going to a Bears and Packers game, and they were just like, oh, yep, hey, the Bears aren't playing. We're just going to throw in the fucking Houston Texans. And we're going to throw in Green Bay also pulled out, and we're going to throw in fucking the Los Angeles Rams. And you're like, but I got tickets to a Bears and Packers game, and they're like, whoops, oh well, fuck you. Is 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 that,
Uh,
is that kind of
I
like,
think I think you're a little bit over the top on this one because from what I've been just brushing up on while you were talking a little bit before when we started, it looks like it's some kind of injury with it. Now they didn't say what it was and how bad it is, but it looks like he did hurt himself, and that's the problem with UFC is these guys put their bodies through very rigorous training, and especially Connor being 35,
so
36,
do
or wherever
NFL
old he is.
players?
I agree. I agree. So I think what you're trying to get at with the comparison isn't the fact that it's Bears, Packers, and Bears aren't showing up. It's more like, hey, uh, and it's kind of a shitty situation, but it's more like, hey, the Lakers are coming to play the Knicks, and AD's hurt.
Or LeBron's
Is
hurt?
kind
Yeah,
of like,
okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
just like, because it's
because it's
so
not like he's
different.
pulling out because he doesn't feel like it, right? It's like he hurt himself for whatever he was doing, getting ready for the fight, and that's the shitty thing is you don't have a team in UFC, right? It's
Exactly.
not like
That's exactly
team
what I was
something
going to
where
say.
where you can't just throw some backup schmuck in there as point guard. It's fucking one on one, and the same thing goes with boxing. Although no one watches boxing anymore.
Yeah.
But
But no, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, I guess maybe that was a bad comparison. First of all, it just pissed me off And like yeah, and that's kind of why I was comparing it to like that is because I was thinking of like Conor McGregor's and the John Jones and the Volks and all these guys like they are their own team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have like fucking super wild card weekend and you have all these fucking games coming up and then there's like oh one of these games aren't happening, it's like
Yeah.
well that's fucking
So
stupid.
the fighters I would be probably more pissed off at would be like a John Jones kind of situation where he's not hurt. He's like busted for coke or busted
Yeah.
for
And so I mean
this or
but they
busted for
haven't
that.
really come
Like
out with
those
the
are the ones that are more angry.
they haven't come out with the details of Conor McGregor's thing yet, right? Because
Yeah,
correct me if
that
I'm
is a little
wrong,
fishy.
right? Correct me if I'm wrong. When the whole John Jones thing came out first, everybody was like, "Oh, it's an injury," and then the UFC was kind of hush about it, and then like day later they're like, "Oh yeah, John Jones can't keep cocaine out of his fucking nose," or oh, and he also can't lay off of
Uh,
PEDs. And correct me if
can't
I'm
speak
wrong,
on that.
but
You might be right.
I'm pretty sure if anybody could correct me on it. Like I said, that was I'm just going off of the top, and I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. And
You might be
so
right.
and so it just like the thing that pisses me off about it is it like I just feel like that it always fucking happens, regardless if it's an injury or not. And sure, if it's an injury, I understand that injuries happen, but I just feel like it happens all the fucking time, right? And the UFC is like, oh, here's all these fights, sell all these tickets. Well, people buy the tickets because of the fighters, and if they're not fighting,
Mhm.
I feel like they're fucking scamming people. Like
Yep.
if you buy a ticket to a UFC 303 and it was Conor McGregor, you should be able to get your money back 100%.
Yeah, I think for the most part they,
I don't think they
you
do.
know, I mean, I don't think they like go, oh, you're getting full refund back, but the UFC does the best they can to try and make the fight somewhat watchable.
Yeah, they always
Like
it's always
obviously it
fucking
won't be for
Alex
like a
Pereira
title
or
shot.
whatever.
No, it's always well, it always used to be what's his name Silva.
Oh,
It's
okay.
always Silva.
Okay, so I'm reading up on it right now, and I don't know. I mean, this really isn't a credible site, but it says here this change in lineup caught many fans by surprise. Fortunately, according to Nevada Athletic Commission statutes, fans are eligible for a refund if they want one.
Okay, well at least they have that.
Yeah, so I mean that definitely does that definitely does lessen the blow because then you could just cancel your whole trip, right? But I mean,
Hmm.
I'm like I just can't imagine like if it's a day before and you and your boys book a trip to Vegas and then like the fighter you are going there to see gets hurt or pulled or doesn't make weight or this or that or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That would be such a fucking heartbreak.
Well, especially for a big name like Connor. I mean, Connor hasn't fought in what, a year or so? 2 years?
3 years.
Three, excuse me, three. I mean, everybody wants to see Connor fight, and Connor's just smart about it because he wants to, he made his money and he, doesn't want to put his body probably through all the stupid shit that he used to do back in the day when he was younger and he's 35 years old.
Yep.
So it's like his career is basically over.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe one or two more fights left in him, but I don't blame the guy for, you know,
Yep.
being a little bit more on the cautious side. If it is a minor injury, like obviously we don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I mean, realistically, like the last time he fought was
Wasn't the one where he broke his leg
so he fought Donald
against Poirier,
Cerrone.
right? Was
Yeah, he fought Donald Cerrone
Oh, Cerrone.
and won that, and then he lost, and he fought Dustin Poirier in 2021 twice, and he lost both
I
times.
think
One of those being he broke his
his
leg.
leg breaking. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember if it was. I think it was the first one he lost.
Mhm.
By the leg, or was it the second one? I don't remember.
No, it was the second. It was the last time they fought. It was the second one. My wife is
Okay, it
your
was the
wife. Your
rematch.
wife is in me DMs. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's such a heartbreak, and that has to be just such a kick in the dick for Michael Chandler too. Like that has, dude. When you fight McGregor, you get paid. That is a like that
Was
is
that for
a
the belt?
no.
Is
Mm-mm.
Chandler the champ?
No.
Yeah.
That's literally for like that is for the. I mean, it's just a paycheck fight. But still, I mean, like, whenever you fight McGregor, like, you're making millions of dollars. Like, I'm pretty sure that fight was, like, one of the highest ticket sale fights immediate, like, of all time. Like, it was, like, number two or three, I'm pretty sure. So,
Probably.
anyways, ran over. I don't know. I just have too many fights are canceled in UFC. Like, they need to have something in place where essentially they're just like, okay, either like we know this fight is going to happen guaranteed, right? And
Yeah.
they
That's
go with
well, that's the
they go
crappy
through with it.
thing.
Yeah, and there's
The
no way to
crappy thing
do
is
it.
just in. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that maybe they have is a set fighter that's like prepared and like maybe like an alternate name. You know what I mean? Like, so if it's like somebody in like the middleweight class, like maybe like the number 3 or number 4 guy is like in a little bit of a light training mode, and maybe like he's the guy that comes up next. But I mean, the shitty thing about UFC schedule is like these guys fight what 2 maybe 3 times a year,
Mhm.
and their body needs just as much rest and recuperation as that. So they might have like just had a UFC fight last month, and then if you're gonna do it that way, the way I just said, it's like now you got to put maybe like only 2 months in between, and they like basically finish a fight and then go right back into a light training to get ready for a potential fight against somebody if they drop out. Like, I think what should happen is these guys, if it's an injury, like no harm, no foul, get a backup or get a last minute guy in there that can make weight maybe and fucking go. But
Mhm.
if it's something like, and I think they might do something like this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if they don't make weight, I think they forfeit their entire money to the other guy, and if they withdraw for whatever reason, I think they forfeit all the winnings to the other guy automatically. But I think like penalizing for those things is like the bigger things, like the coke busts, the fucking not
Yeah.
making weight, like shit like that.
Yeah, cuz I mean like
I think that's like a
injuries
bigger punishment.
yeah, like I think like why would guys and I understand it's a fucking fight, like you're trying to basically go in there and kill the guy, but if you know a fight's coming on and like you both are gonna get paid, wouldn't you want to do just like light sparring? Wouldn't you want to like not go stupid hard and then just like make your weight and then okay, just still continue to light spar, maybe have one or two good sessions in there and then I don't know, I just can't and I'm not a fucking boxer
Um,
by any
I mean these
means.
fight yeah, I was gonna say these fighters got all their trainings down to basically a fucking science at this point, and I mean these are all guys who studied the body, studied damage to the body, recuperation, all that crap, and these their schedules that they make, and obviously everybody is different, so everybody gets different results, but these guys are super into every little detail of their training camps, and apparently it works most of the time. But just some days, one little twist while you're doing, groundwork or some shit like that, and next thing you know, you got a pulled hammy, and then that's it, and
And
there goes your
whatever. I'm
camp.
just gonna fucking I just like watching UFC fights and being like, yeah, I would have just fucking put that dude in a guillotine
Mm-hmm.
and won the
So
fight.
much easier said than done.
Yeah. Well, not for us. I mean, we're fighters for sure. All
Sure,
right.
man.
Okay, let's get into some more logical talking, maybe. Um, NBA Finals. Jesse, knee-jerk reaction. How are you feeling?
Give it down.
How are you feeling?
I don't know how to feel right now, man.
Okay, how were you feeling after
Honest-
game three? What was your like initial thought?
I
Time the
was
noose,
honestly
baby.
feeling hopeless at that point.
Yeah, was like the
I
noose
mean,
around your neck?
oh yeah, pretty
Military
much. I
one
mean, it's
source.
been it's been in the works after game two. I found a good spot in my ceiling. I was slowly rigging it. After game three was when I officially just hooked it on there and just had it on standby. Um,
Ready to
but
kick
I
that
get to live
shell.
another day after game four. Um, it I don't know, man. It's still a long hill to climb, but and it's never been done before. I don't
Never.
remember what the exact record is, but it's like in the 200s, I think.
I
Like
think
teams
it's
that
156. I
yeah,
think
like
they said
teams
it
that
was
are
like
up to nothing
156.
are undefeated.
Yeah, like
256
one. And I think it was 156. I could be wrong.
or 156. Yeah, some stupid highlight. Basically saying it's never been done before. But and there's a
Hey,
first
people
for
said that
everything.
about the '04 Red Sox, baby.
Yeah, like I mean, I will say this though, and we talked about this earlier, and I have a buddy who's a Celtics fan. Is the one in Boston is going to be tough on Monday, right? It's not going to be
Hmm.
easy, but don't let the series go back to Dallas up 3-2. That's all I'll have to say about that
Yeah, I will say
because
this, and when we were talking earlier, I think if you guys can win in Boston tomorrow, I truly believe the series will go to seven. Now, do I think that Dallas will win the series? I don't think so. I do think it goes to seven.
and it's game on after that.
Yeah, that's where all the
Yeah.
marbles. So, um, can we talk about something?
Something.
Can we talk about something else now?
Sure, I already know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, we all know it's coming. We
Can
all know it's
we
coming.
talk about how big of a bitch Luka Doncic is? Like,
Um,
do you disagree with that statement? First of all,
I think no, I don't disagree,
it is the most
but
fucking infuriating thing to watch him sit there in crunch time, try to draw two fouls he knows he's not gonna fucking get, sit there and cry to the ref for fucking 30 seconds, let them score easy fucking points on the other end because he decides he wants to sit there and fucking cry and not play defense in a fucking finals NBA game. A finals NBA game. You're about to get
yeah,
fucking. You're on the brink of getting sent home. And he's fucking sitting there crying like a baby. And then after the game, because he fouls out, after the game, he rips the refs for fucking, you know, oh, those should have been called. It's like, dude, you're committing the fouls. Like this, they're just calling what they
Hmm.
see. And we said this earlier. Luca dude, just go out there and fucking drop 40 fucking points, dude. Drop 40 points, shut the fuck up, and get back on the other end of the court and play defense, even though you can't even do that either. Because a dude takes one hezzy and you're fucking they're around you. It's wild to me.
yeah. This stems off of game three specifically because that was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen him have. He's not an athletic guy, like if we're being honest, right? He's like Joker when it comes to athleticism, but the difference is Joker posts up. He puts his body in the way and he's like, you will go through me. You will not go around me. Luka gives his guy way too much space, and he's not quick on his feet. I mean, he's like 6'7", going up against guards, right, and even uh, forwards that are faster than him, and they just go around him, and there's nothing he can do, right? And if he tries to do something, he'll draw a foul. But in Game 4, he did exactly what I wanted to do. He got in their face, and he planted his feet, and he's like, "Nah, you will not get around me. You will go through me." And
Mm-hmm.
look at the difference that makes.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
needs to come to terms with the fact that unless he skinnies up and loses some weight, like increases his fitness, he will not be quick at like he will get beat by anyone that's just a notch quicker than he is. But an advantage he can't
yeah,
have is his size.
yeah. Well, the crazy thing about it, when you think about just Luca in general, and just the NBA, I should say in general, they don't stress defense for everyone anymore. Like your whole job is to play offense and defense. Like that's the point of basketball is you got to be able to play somewhat of an offense and defense. Now Luca does offense very well, you know, you know, actually amazingly well, but like he doesn't do anything on defense, right? And like they were saying, I was listening to some podcasts and stuff on the radio on the way to work on like Thursday or whatever it was, and they were saying basically Game 4 was going to define Luca's career, and not that his career was going to be over, right? But what would happen in Game 4 would be the basically tell all of what kind of person and player Luka Doncic is. So, I mean, he came out and he, like you said, he put his feet in the ground. And he said, "Nah, motherfucker, like you're gonna call me out on defense. Like I'm a get it right." Like he came out and he played pretty decently on defense, right? Now he wasn't like blocking shots like fucking Matumbo or some shit, but yeah, he's playing much better defense. His offense was still there, right? And that's probably why Dallas won also, and by a large fucking margin was because all the focus of having to pick up for Luca on defense kind of went away because Lucas finally started playing some good defense, and it's good to see that uh, kind of mentality come back to the kid, and yeah,
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Like Luca, there's no question. Luca will never be a liability on offense. Like his defense, it's still in question, but it's not like he can't improve. It's not like it's hopeless. Like he has the blueprint on
mm-hmm.
how he can use his own physicality and skill set to play defense, and he just needs to use it.
Well, Well, I think the thing that's going to make Luca possibly get better at defense next season and for years to come is that bald headed dude that's running that team right there, little Mister Jason Kidd.
Kid, the kid.
That guy, that
Well,
guy
that's the thing I
gets
told Jesse earlier is
everyone
like
going.
I can't like Dallas got within 3 points or 4 points or something, and like he called a timeout. Like you have the
Yeah,
momentum, Jason Kidd. Like why are you
that makes
calling a
sense.
timeout there?
I mean, it could be many things that go into calling a timeout, right? Like, I mean, I didn't catch the game, so I don't really know, but it could be anything from maybe Luka's tired and the rest, but you don't want to take him out, or Kyrie comes up funky for a second. I mean, I like I said, I didn't watch the tape, so I don't really know specifics of that, but I mean, there's many things that go into a timeout other than just momentum, right?
Yeah, true. Um, all right, Jesse. So scale 1 to 10. How confident are you in game 5 coming up?
5. Right now, actually. because of what I saw in Game 4, I will say I'm about 7 on the scale.
Okay, so you think you guys
That
got
Dallas
it?
is going to win it, or it's going to 7?
I think it's going to
Or are you just
7,
talking about just Game 5?
just Game 5 right now.
Okay, gotcha.
I think the whole team got hot. I mean, the bench put up like 30 some, almost 40 points. They probably did eclipse 40 points, and that's just that is a championship team. Like
Mm-hmm.
when the bench comes alive. I mean, Luka and Kyrie on their own put up over 20, right? Luka got was it like Luka maybe got 30 or like 20, high 20s, low 30s.
They also
Kyrie got
took him
I
out
know
in the
Kyrie
fourth
got in the
quarter.
20s. And he didn't even play the entire game. So, but that's what I'm. That the bench is all that it comes down to, and the bench got really hot. Maybe that this game was that little push that they need, that little confidence boost, and they're like, guys, we just proved to ourselves and the world that we can play like this because we just did it.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say we can't go back to that fucking shithole town Boston and light that stadium the fuck up and
Yeah.
give Boston fans a reason to not celebrate early.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, yeah, going back to the scale, I'd say 7. It's still scary. It's Boston. They had the best record in the NBA for a reason, and even though they had to play who was in front of them, they still, mopped the floor with everyone that was in their path.
See, what I find very interesting about this Game 5 is obviously Dallas did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do. They punched Boston right in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you guys when you were watching it or if you did watch it, but especially later in that game, and maybe that was just because they were up 30 or something. And me and Jesse were talking about it before we started this. It almost looked like Boston wasn't trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it
like
seemed like they were
I
just
kind
going
of
through the motions
I okay,
of playing a finals game.
but the thing is though is like there is no fucking way, and I kind of maybe have like a conspiracy theory after I say this, but there's no fucking way that any team in the world is going to be like, let's drop this game. They want to get in there
No, no, no,
and
no,
get
no,
the
no,
fuck
no,
out.
no. That's not
Yeah,
that's not what I was getting at all. I was just saying, just by the look of it, it almost looked like not that they were just
You're not.
like
Oh, so you're not saying
not.
that they weren't not trying. It just
No, I don't think they threw the
that's
game.
how they looked.
Yeah, I don't think they like
Okay.
threw the game at all. Like saying, "Oh yeah, like we're gonna win this in Boston, dude. We don't want to fucking win it in Dallas." Like, no, 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 no. I don't think that's what it was. But it almost looked like overconfidence. Like, hey, we're up 3-0. Oh, it's over, baby. Like all these shots are gonna
yeah,
fall, and like literally almost every shot that when I watched it especially in the third, I think towards the end of the third into the fourth, like they were missing layups, they were missing threes, just nothing was falling for him, and I was like, it almost looked like, man, maybe I was just chalking up to a bad day shooting, but
Maybe it's
it
Jerry
just seemed like
West.
not,
Maybe it was
yeah.
Jerry West's death.
You see that thing where it was like
Yeah,
even
like
like Jerry
yeah.
is so committed to the
rather
Lakers that like he
He'd
wanted
rather
to die
die than
before he
yeah.
saw another. Yeah,
He'd rather die than
yeah.
watch the Celtics win again.
I was like, oh my god, I was like, that's horrible.
That is so
man, that
funny.
But
internet
yeah,
is
I think
internet
just like
is
that. I don't know if it was just overconfidence or bad night shooting or maybe a combination of a bunch of other things. But yeah, it almost looked like they just didn't give a shit at that point. Like maybe
Yeah.
because they were up 30 and they were like, all right, let's just take the L on this one and you know,
Yeah,
and
that might
head
be
back to
it.
Boston. But yeah, like just watching that third quarter, like they would just like I was telling Jesse, like they would just come up, like maybe get a couple passes and then just chuck up threes for like they kind of like they weren't going to what they were good at, like the drive and kick, like they were just pulling up for threes. Maybe Dallas' defense was just that good at that point, but yeah, but it's very interesting to see what happened in Game 5 because after getting punched in the mouth like that, it'll be very interesting to see if Boston comes back and just fucking pee slaps fucking Dallas at home, or they just cower like bitches and fucking just buckle under the pressure and fucking we get our first down 3-0 fucking NBA series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to wonder how Boston rebounds from this, what their mentality is. Is it, like you said, are they like furious or like, all right, let's put these clowns away. I'm so sick and tired of this. Um, let's just go to work. Or were they like, wow, I didn't know we could get beat that badly. What the fuck? Like, are we exposed? Like, are we like
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck? Is it like a morale crusher? Is it like it all depends on how the Boston players and coaches are feeling at this point in time, and how they'll be able to rebound for Game 5.
Yeah, you learn a lot about your team when you get your fucking dick stomped into the ground and you
Yeah,
get punched in the mouth. You learn a
I
lot
think.
about your team.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree.
Well, and so I guess I'll just go into it. The only reason I say like I kind of have a conspiracy about this is because like I was on the way to work and like I heard the Dan Patrick show and like Colin Coward and all these other people on like big like radio media before I turn on the podcast I usually listen to. Um they were like talking about the finals and so I kind of got intrigued and they're like, "Oh yeah, they started talking about media." And they're like, "Yeah, like the Celtics are bad for ratings. The Celtics are bad for profits." And I was like, "Well, what do they mean by that?" And they're basically talking about how like broadcasting companies, so like CBS and TNT and ESPN and all these other companies don't make any money really off of series until it goes into a game 6 scenario.
Okay.
And so I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And so excuse me. My my initial thought process was like after that game 4, I was like, is there like maybe somebody pulling the strings like, hey, we are going to get this to game 6 so we make fucking money off this and then like may the best man win? Or I mean, as long as it gets to game 6 then it's like, all right, Boston, stomp them, you know? So,
Yeah, I mean, I
I
could
mean, I don't
definitely
know how you
see.
rig a I don't really see how you rig a sports like unless there's just horrendous calls, but when shots are falling, like you can't really rig that.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah, like even look at the Tim Donahue fucking things, like with the betting scandals. Like, there's only so much you can do, right? There's only like so many calls, and once you start doing all these calls that aren't, you know, really good calls, you're gonna get noticed, and then that's when the investigation starts. So it's like it's a lot harder to do shit like that now, probably because there's so many eyes and so many people watching every single thing. So is there maybe a little bit of favoritism? Maybe, but I mean, Dallas didn't miss a shot for a while, so
yeah,
I
for
Ex-
mean,
sure.
yeah, it
Exactly, and
wasn't. Yeah,
that's another thing. Like, even if Boston played well, I mean, if you score 122 points, or if you allow that many points, it's hard to overcome.
hmm
Yeah, no, it
You know,
definitely is.
I mean, Boston hasn't scored that many against Dallas, or even maybe this playoff run. So even if they played well and got to 100, I mean, Dallas could. with scoring 122 points, Dallas could have won it anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Um. Okay, so I mean, is that kind of are we done with the finals? Any last calls? I guess
No.
one last thing. The hockey, NHL, and NBA finals, in my opinion, have been super fucking boring to watch. Am I the only one who thinks that?
I can kind of see that, and I mean, both teams are up 3-0, and now they're both 3-1 after an absolute shellacking tonight by Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I can see kind of why it's lost because, like, everybody wants to see the games go to Game 7, and everybody wants to see the fucking dramatic moments, the overtime games, the buzzer beaters, the in hockey, the game winning goal, right? Everybody wants to see that shit. And it's hard to do that every year. So, you're going to get some series where there's just too much of a mismatch, whether it's Boston or, Florida being just so good. But, I mean, Edmonton, you know, fucking, again, like did what Dallas did, just fucking slugged them right in the
Yeah,
fucking
that is
gut.
super. I didn't even put two and two together until you just said that. Like Dallas beat the fuck out of the Celtics, and Edmonton just punched Florida right in the mouth.
Hmm. Yeah, and this is where it gets interesting. Is do these teams compose themselves and then come back and plug them right back in the mouth and end it, or do they, falter and get cautious, and then the pressure starts to build, and they go, oh my god, am I gonna fuck up? Am I gonna fuck up? And I think now is when you kind of you might get a little bit more ratings, at least for a Game 5,
Mhm.
especially if it was a close game, like if Edmonton won 2-1 or something like that, or fucking Dallas won by maybe 7 or something like that. Like those ratings compared to what the ratings you're going to get now is probably going to be a little bit you know more towards now, because now everyone's going to see, yo, is Boston going to fucking crumble? Is this the start of it? Is this the start of it, or
Yeah,
is
for sure.
is it over?
Dude, if Boston crumbles, I mean,
Oh my god, Tatum will never. I was telling Jesse this. I was like, if Boston loses this series, he will go down as the worst choke artist over Jesse's boy Tony, little
mhm.
Tony Romo,
Yep.
and I don't think it'll surpass um 28-3, because that was an ultimate choke show, but it'll definitely be up there with
it, it's
with
pretty damn
you know
close. Yeah.
greatest comebacks ever, and it'll be one of the greatest choke shows ever,
Yeah,
basically. And like,
it
Well,
will literally be if they that's worse than the fucking Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead. I mean, by like,
yeah,
yeah. The
especially
only thing
and not
worse than
even
blowing
go ahead, go ahead.
the only thing worse than blowing a 3-1 lead is blowing a 3-0 lead.
Well, but
hmm
I'm looking at it a little deeper as like this Celtics team is so fucking stacked.
and they've been good the whole year.
Year exactly, like
Mhm.
the whole year.
The only thing they can possibly even remotely say is the problem is Porzingis, but he was also hurt a decent chunk of the year this year, so it's like you still won without him, right?
Yeah.
You still won 64, 66 games without him, right? So it's not like he was the focal point. It wasn't like he was Jason Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
you can still win with this team because you're so fucking deep. So
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, that 73-9 Warriors team was fucking sick. I just feel like the warpath the Celtics have gone on and the amount of shit that they've gotten for playing easy teams, if they just complete, like you said, crumble and blow all of that,
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it would go, like you said, it would literally go down as one of the biggest choke jobs ever.
Oh yeah, I mean, we said this before when we were getting ready to talk about the finals, and I was like, and it was like, oh, is this like an asterisk thing for them? And I'm like, no, it's not an asterisk. But if they lose it, it's gonna be that much worse for them. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be so much worse for them.
Yeah.
And let me ask you guys this: if you were Boston fans, if I put yourself in the shoes of a Boston fan, at what point do you push the panic button?
If they lose game,
I
I think if they lose game five by a lot, like if they lose by like a buzzer beater or something like that, like in game five, like there's not much you could do, right? That's just a lucky shot that put them over the edge, right? But if they get blown out in game five,
At home,
like
yeah.
maybe not by 30, but if they're home and they get fucking blown out, bro, that's I'm going into panic mode because now the series is going to Dallas
yeah.
and
Yeah.
they have the momentum riding. And if they
Yeah.
win game six right now, obviously game seven is a 50-50 shot, right? Because you have a slight advantage because you're home, but
But the momentum of
the
losing
momentum
of
after
winning
them
three
going into your
games.
building and just once again just sledgehammer to the dome
Yeah.
back to
Yeah.
back games, dude, that's panic button right there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, if I definitely think Dallas wins, if Dallas wins tomorrow, I'm not pushing the panic button, but I'm like, I'm making,
But
You're
your
probably
hands
over
over
it,
it.
right?
Your
yeah, my
hands
Yeah.
hands
over it.
over it, and I'm like, I'm waiting, and then yeah, like I'm sweating, and my hands over it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
We gotta
very
see what
interesting.
happens. This is why we
I
play the
know,
games.
dude. It's gonna be an interesting fucking thing to see.
Yeah, so um, do I man, do we have anything else? WNBA. Caitlin Clark's not in the Olympics. That's
Yeah,
that's a story. I mean, I kind of think people are honestly kind of I mean, I know she's really fucking good. Um, are people like overreacting too much about it?
so
Right?
I, I'm not gonna say that they're overreacting to it, but it definitely was a swing and a miss. I think for WNBA
Yeah.
because I mean obviously no one gave a shit about the WNBA until Caitlin Clark came in and was doing her thing, and obviously the Fever aren't doing very great. They're like what 3 and something or 8 and 5 and something, whatever the hell they are. But
Mhm.
um, like she is the biggest female star right now in
Yeah.
sports, right? Like her name is everywhere, and everything she does, she gets thrown to the ground hard in the game. It's fucking ESPN all day, right? Like she is the brand right now, and she's going to be the brand for a while. So it's like I get what the Team USA did because they're chasing the ring, right?
Mhm.
They want people that are there. But you also have to think about it like, what would Caitlin Clark hurt you? Like, would she be that much of a distraction? And even if so, like, I mean, the men do this all the time. They have like the one college player that plays with them, and you basically learn from the pros what it takes to be a champion,
Who's the guy?
right?
Who's the guy this year?
I don't know if they still do it. I know they did do that because that was
Oh,
the Christian Laettners and I think Anthony Davis did it one year. Uh, I want to say it's somebody from UConn. I could be wrong if I didn't check the roster, so I don't know. But um, but yeah, like this was another way to expand the WNBA to even a more international level because it's the international fucking peak, right? It is the Olympics. This is the show for women's basketball. And even if she wasn't like a fucking starter, right? Like she could have been on the roster and maybe getting 10 minutes a game, right, and just playing with the the people who've been there before, like the Brittany Griners and the other, the so and so's, and I can't think of anyone else because I want to say a name that I don't think she's playing anymore. But like, was it Sue Bird? Is she still playing? I don't even remember.
She
But
just retired this year.
okay, so she did retire. Okay, but like, yeah, like all the was it Candace Parker, Sabrina Ionescu, whatever her name is. But this would have been a good opportunity for her to kind of get that mentality by watching other people. And even I saw an article today about the Redeem team with Kobe, because it's something I didn't even think about, that Kobe was the only champion on that team.
Yeah, because there was
Uh,
KD, Russ, LeBron, Wade came
LeBron,
off the bench,
Bosh,
Melo,
Wade. Yeah,
Bree.
like there was no champion.
Yeah. True. Yeah,
So
Kobe
like,
was Kobe. Is Tim Duncan wasn't on that team?
well, actually, I guess you could say Wade, because I think Wade
Wade
won
won,
with
right?
Shaq.
Because he won with Shaq. Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, yeah. So there's maybe like one or two champions, but Kobe was the only like real champion. And they was telling a story in the
So
article of
Wade wasn't a
that
real
last
champion.
possession with Spain. No, Wade's a champion.
You said You
I
said
just
real
forgot.
champion.
Okay,
Okay, so thanks
what I
for
meant to say
making it
was
so
a
now. So now
multiple
D
champion.
Wade is never gonna come on this fucking podcast because apparently he's not a real
Oh
champion to
God
fucking
damn it! You
Boomer.
shut up.
Okay, nice dude.
Good,
Thanks for fucking
good, Dwayne. Dwayne, you can come
annexing
on there.
from us from fucking Dwayne Wade coming on the podcast. Great.
Okay, he is a real champion, but Kobe was like the
A
multiple
more real
experience
champion.
champion,
It's fine. Just say it.
right?
Just
Like
say he
Wade
wasn't.
Wade did it with Shaq.
Just say he wasn't a real champion. Kobe did it with Shaq.
Yeah, but also Kobe did it without Shaq.
So did D Wade.
Did it, okay. We'll put a pin in his argument, but yeah. So Kobe was the guy who won 5 or 6 championships, whatever he had at the time, or 4, or whatever he was at. But yeah, it was like going into the story of that last possession with Spain and shit, and like that would have been maybe something cool for what's her name, but apparently she's fucking using it as fuel. And I guess in 4 years, she said, yeah, she's gonna be fucking ready to go and win that gold, I guess, in 4 years. So who knows what'll happen?
Yeah. Um. So I agree with it. I think I don't like see a huge problem team wise. Like I think Team USA is probably still just going to dominate everybody. Um. But the WNBA for so long has been waiting for something like this to just get them over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally got it, and it just seems like nobody fucking wants it to happen now. Like it seems like all the players, all the foreign players are like, no, fuck that. We don't want her in this league. We hate her. Um, don't get her on the fucking Team USA team because it'll be all about her. Yada yada. Like we talked about this last week or the week before, but like when you got a good thing and you got somebody who got you all private fucking jets, maybe, just fucking maybe, we should like kind of protect this asset we've acquired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, definitely.
I just don't I just don't understand the thought process of like all the
So I think
I don't understand the thought process of hating Caitlin Clark in the league when you guys are getting treated better, you guys are getting better accommodations, and you guys are probably getting paid more. Attendance is up,
so I
ticket
think
sales are up. Like
yeah.
that means revenue. Like more revenue means more money in your pocket, And to hate on somebody who's giving you that is fucking absurd to me.
Yeah, so I think it's also maybe a little bit of pride, I guess, for them because, she's a rookie and, she's I don't want to, I'm not going to bring race into this, but, you know, she, she's a rookie. She's like a fucking college star that's in her first fucking, season. But I think they're just like, oh, like we don't need, Caitlin Clark to make this league what it should be. Like we don't need that distraction. Like we have a good product on our own, and they don't realize that they actually don't. And there's been, year after year since 1996 or whatever year they started, has been a deficit in profit. And if it wasn't for the NBA giving them money to stay alive, that league would have folded years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think they're just like on this super pride thing where it's like, no, 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 we don't need Caitlin Clark to keep this alive because we're good enough ourselves. And U.S. women is good enough in the international stage because they win or are at least close to winning every year, every 4 years, whatever.
Mhm.
But I think they just like don't like this. Oh, we're nothing without her kind of mentality. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of the chippiness, a lot of the shit going towards her. And obviously we don't go political on here, but there's probably some other fucking dumb shit associated with it. But I mean, I'm not I'm not gonna say it, but
No,
that's all I'll say about that.
I think it kind of goes without saying. I agree. Um, yeah, I definitely think it goes without saying. And yeah, without getting political, I think it's kind of the elephant in the room why there is so much hate with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll just
Yep.
we'll just leave it at that. Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess to this is gonna we'll just end this one on a short one, 'cause we're almost to the dog days of sports. But next week I think we are going to
Mm-hmm.
have a guest on. It is gonna be a friend of ours. We'll maybe give an update on um, you know, Wednesday or Thursday of who it's gonna be on the socials. But as of right now, we're gonna have a lifelong friend of ours on, and we will have a little bit longer show because I think we're just gonna get to make fun of them. So stay tuned for that. And I guess before we end this, we mentioned a little bit earlier, um, R.I.P. Jerry West, Logo Man.
Yeah.
Like that's a significant loss, I think, for the game. Like that's he's the
Yeah.
fucking
I
face
mean,
of the NBA. Like that, like literally on every uniform, on every fucking television that has
mhm.
basketball. Like
Yeah.
that is him. It is like one man is as not as big, but like means the same to a organization as like the Shield, right? The NFL Shield, the NHL Shield, the Batterman, everything, right? Like that is
Hmm.
it was I hope they never change
Yeah.
it. And like I said, RIP.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about it. Like most people just think of him really as the player, right? And the logo and like the guy who's gonna be probably the only guy to lose an NBA finals and be the MVP because he was that good. But it's crazy when you like look when you start hearing these stories about the kind of guy he was and even just like his accomplishments that you don't even think about. And he might have the most complete career in the history of sports. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You think about his college career, you think about
Yeah.
his playing days with the Lakers, you think about his coaching days,
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
his
Mhm.
executive. I mean, it's crazy to think that he was the guy that got Kobe and Shaq together, like
Yeah.
days apart. Like they traded up and got or traded their pick and whatever for fucking Kobe, and then like was it a week later they signed Shaq and that was the beginning of the duo. And it's just crazy to think that a guy can have done so much in the league, and like, I mean, not a lot of people talk about it, right? And once again, R.I.P. to Big Jerry West, but it's crazy to think about how what a actual career on and off the court that guy had. It's
Mm-hmm.
insane.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, boys. Well, I think that wraps up this one. Like I said, stay tuned to next episode because we are going to be wrapping up the finals and then really going into the dog days. So this is gonna be digging deep. So we're gonna be getting our scooping hats on because we're gonna be digging up all the sports stories. Nothing, no stone will go unturned. Um,
Well, we got the Euros and Copa America
yeah,
and the Olympics happening. So.
I'll just let you sit here for 30 minutes and talk soccer, and then me and Boomy will just be like, yeah, but Cristiano Ronaldo's the best. So, um, alrighty, guys. Well, until next time, and take care.